We're here in beautiful Boulder, Colorado, part of Next Gen Network's 2012 coverage of the college championships. I'm Brian Jones, here with Mario O'Brien and Tyler Kinley. We have a beautiful scene here today, the backdrop of the Rocky Mountains, and we have a great matchup in the quarterfinals of the college championships in the men's division. Wisconsin Hodags facing off against the Tufts E-men. Let's take a look at our Next Gen Tour Bus keys to victory. What are the keys for Wisconsin winning this game, Mario?
You know, for the Hodags, it's all about their experience, relying on the experience that they gained on this field in a situation that's going to be similar to what it was last year. It is a very gusty day. Not quite the high velocity winds that we saw last year in the final, but they have 20 returners on this team. They have done this. Hector Valdivia has prepared these guys, and he told us that they're willing to change the game plan. That's something that they didn't do well last year. So for the Hodags, it's about being flexible, taking what's going to work. That might mean hucking and playing field position. That might mean working it with their great handlers. But the key for Valdivia is to adjust that game plan and take what's working, rely on the experience.
Wisconsin losing last year to their regional rival Carleton in the finals, back with a vengeance. We do have winds here today, 16-mile-an-hour winds gusting up to 22 miles an hour, but Tufts coming out of the northeast part of the United States. Tyler, what are their keys to victory?
Well, I spoke to Dan Forster, their coach, and some of the keys to victory for them are minimizing the unnecessary turnovers that they saw and really made a more difficult than it needed to be game earlier in this tournament against the University of Washington Sun Dodgers. They pulled out that game, but it wasn't easy, and only later when they played Carleton really in the second half, they won the second half, getting 2 more breaks, making it close, did we see the Tufts E-men start to come together. They're going to rely a lot on Sam Kitrus-Chanel, Piers McNaughton, and Adrian Banerjee, along with Alex Cooper and Jack Hatchett. Those are their 5 main players. Both Jack Hatchett and Adrian Banerjee are Ironside players, along with Sam KS. They have a lot of experience in that regard at the elite club level. However, in comparison to the Wisconsin Hodags, who are, as Mario said, returning 20 guys from last year's final, no players on the Tufts E-men have ever played in the quarterfinal game. Last year they lost to Harvard Redline in the pre-quarters game, so this for them is going above and beyond where they've been before. In the Northeast, however, there is a lot of wind. They're used to playing in this wind. That's a huge difference maker. It means that the coach doesn't really have to tell them that when the wind gusts and they're going downwind, they need to put it. It's just known. That's big. So both teams comfortable in this wind, able to adjust. For the E-men, it's going to be minimizing errors that give the Hodags a short field and playing their game, which Forster just said was a boring ultimate game, very fundamentally sound.
And we're here, first poll from Wiseman. Tufts receiving. Tufts trying to do what no team has done in the new national format, go through pre-quarters and advance to the semifinals. We have Tufts in the white, Wisconsin in the baby blue, and the Hodag fans are already out in force. Cooper. We'll be back now, launching this one. KS is there, gets the catch. Tufts goes up 1-0, and the Tufts crowds respond. Great opening point.
And I think what you're going to see in this game when we talk about matchups or we talk about personnel is the only true handler on either team was the handler who threw that goal right there, Alex Cooper. The Hodags have more athletic players. I wouldn't say that throwing is any of their number one primary fundamental or strength, but Cooper is a great thrower, and he shows it here on a dime of a huck, and that is not an easy throw.
No, it's
Upwind
not.
or downwind, throwing a forehand huck is very hard in this wind.
No, it's not. And that was exactly the cut and the drill that they ran before the game began. They had a line of players exactly where Cooper picked up the disc. Cutters deep, cutting for that exact forehand. Paid off.
We will see a significant upwind and downwind game. Again, we have winds at 16 mile an hour, gusting up to 22. Not as large as last year's gusts that went up to 50 miles an hour in the final, so we should see some upwind offense.
Now, another interesting point to talk about here regarding the wind is anytime you play in the wind, that normally minimizes the effect of your athleticism. A lot of time it can level the playing field. And the Hodags, there's no question who's the more athletic team in this game.
Park launching a hammer deep. Hatchet with a SWAT D, gaining some field position.
So with the athleticism minimized, it becomes more of a thrower's game rather than an athlete's game.
Right there, we saw exactly what Dan Forster before the game talked about. He was going to allow the Hodags to go laterally and really try to make their downfield throws tough. That's exactly what we saw there. They tried to just go straight past them over the fronting players.
Hatchet falling down the sideline. That would be, looks like he may have strained something. That would be a big loss for Tufts.
Looked like his right heel slipped forward. That can be very painful. That's a hamstring, maybe a groin injury.
Looks like he's trying to walk it off, but Banerjee coming in for Hatchet.
Tufts in their vertical stack. I love the spacing I see. That gives you a lot more confidence as a thrower, knowing that you can just float one out to space, as opposed to the Hodag offense, which is typically horizontal.
Cooper getting in a tight space. Looking for the upwind. We have a call on the play. Pick called.
In this situation, it's a bit of a surprise to me that they're forcing backhand because it allows for that backhand hook. However, it does make some sense in that it's the downwind side.
Cooper forcing it upfield to Lloyd. Olsen. Cooper up the line once again.
This could be a huge break if they're able to get this one.
Wisconsin really poaching the lane. Putting it up. Cooper floating in the air. Wisconsin gets the D. Bend but don't break defense by Wisconsin.
Here we see the disc late in the stall count. You just got to put it to the end zone.
We have call on the play.
Observer rules, no foul. That's the right call here. Just a wolf pack under the disc. Definitely going to be some contact.
I really like the mark from Wisconsin there, not allowing a bailout.
We see a high hammer once again. Wiseman can't come down with it. Excuse me, Colin Camp.
Alex, over the middle.
Before the game, we spoke to the Hodags coach, Hector Valdivia, and he said he's willing to make whatever adjustments he feels necessary. Clearly here, it's a field position game.
Cooper trying to find again tight spaces. Finds Wilburn. Excuse me, now Wilburn going back for the disc. One of Tufts' defensive handlers. And we have a collision on the field. Looks like Simmons involved.
Now, when you play the wind offensively, a lot of times it's not necessarily about attacking where the goal is. It's about getting to the high wind side of the field. Sometimes that means you might lose yards on a swing, or you might not gain a lot of yards on your undercuts. But if you can get to that high wind side of the field, which Tufts is moving towards now, it's towards the forehand side or towards the break mark side. If you can get it up there, you're going to have an advantage with all of your throws.
Interesting. Cooper putting it deep. Olsen can't run it down. Still a good opportunity, a good chance for Tufts to try to capitalize on those upwinders.
Now we'll see if they go another hammer over the top.
Park finding Simmons through the zone, and Simmons not wasting any time. All the way back, it's Donovan. Donovan makes the catch in the back of the end zone, and the Hodags tied at 1.
What we see paying off there is the Hodags being willing to take one short throw to open up a backhand rather than just taking 0 throws, 0 chance, and putting up a much less effective hammer.
Agreed. You gotta trust some of the fundamentals that you've built over 4 years playing. Trust that you can throw a swing pass in the wing so that you can, just like you said, Tyler, get it downfield with an easy throw, and one that can actually potentially get caught for a goal.
I think in their choices to not even throw one, we're seeing a marked reaction from last year. It's if there's wind, last year we didn't adjust well enough. Today we're going to over adjust and not even want to take that short throw risk.
Really, the problem for Wisconsin last year was not necessarily scoring on the downwind. It was actually on the upwind. Carleton in the national final was the only team able to score upwind in that game. Wisconsin, as we said earlier, doesn't really have a pure handler. We see a lot of guys with athleticism and ability to get open, but the throws, Carleton has those type of throwers. And Cooper here is also a pure thrower.
Yeah, you could already see it in the first couple points. We had Cooper, who normally plays O-line. He played that first O-point downwind. And then he actually stayed in to play D-line because they were expecting to get the disc. A lot of times that's what you do in an upwind, downwind game. It's not about offense and defense. It's about keeping your best throwers in going upwind.
Scooper to Banerjee. Back to Cooper. Cooper will take those risks over the top. And here's the D by Wisconsin. Alter coming in, reading the Scooper.
Here they're really attacking that upwind side.
Going underneath, finding Hart.
The wind just died down about 5 miles an hour. Not quite as bad.
Picking up here Coolidge. Near the goal line, this could be an important score for Wisconsin. Looking for the up the line. Hart makes the grab, and that's huge to go up 2-1. Tufts complaining about the out of bounds call, perhaps. Or inbounds call, rather.
The first upwinder is huge mentally for Wisconsin. Interesting. Let's take another look at that as he throws upfield. It looks like his torso, maybe his hip hits first before his hand. However, if all you saw was, oh, that's close.
That looks like that's split second.
Catch.
Torso, then
torso, then hand. But if all you're seeing is hand, it does look like he would be out.
Now let's talk about the contrast in styles going downwind that we saw. Hodags, they want to swing and huck. They don't want any turnovers that are going to allow a short field for Tufts.
Yeah.
Tufts actually chose to work it, turned it over at half field. That only makes the Hodags have to work half as much to get a goal. So far, I would say Hodags coming out with a better strategy initially, just playing percentages. The more throws you have to throw upwind, the more likely there's going to be for a turnover. And even though those hucks downfield are just huck and hope, it still makes it almost impossible for the other offensive team to work it 70 yards against wind.
The Hodags also benefited from that random brief die down in the wind. Even a 5-mile die down makes a big difference. They benefit greatly from it.
I mean, that's 2 upfield throws. That's you can get 20 to 30 yards.
Here the disc rolls out the back. If he touched it, it's starting at the back of the end zone. It looks like he did.
But Cooper's still picking it up.
No touch. That would be a 20-yard addition.
So close.
Oh, wow.
Cooper, Wisconsin throwing a 4-man cup here. 5 people within the vicinity of the disc. It's going to be tough.
Dave Wiseman back to defend the big.
What a hammer by Alex Cooper.
That's what Cooper brings to the field. That is a very difficult throw.
Banerjee can't hang on. Tufts with a jailbreak, having an opportunity. Now Simmons.
Oftentimes when a team gets an upwind break in a severe upwind downwind game here, it leads immediately to a downwind break. That's what we can see here.
Putting this one up in floaty. Banerjee is there defending. Gets the D. Call on the play.
It looks like he's saying that he ran up diagonally rather than taking a direct straight line up to the front of the end zone. That would be a travel call. You also have to tap the disc to the line, which I thought he did, maybe he didn't.
Banerjee, one of the experienced players for Tufts, plays with Boston's Ironside at the club level.
Give another call on the play. Energy, straight up mark. Interesting here, and really trying to force Cooper to make dump cuts. We're seeing man defense by Wisconsin. Field, KS putting this one deep. Can't get underneath it, just falling short.
The disc just died at the end there.
Tufts proving, though, they have the ability to put the disc upwind early on. Wiseman, easy gainer to Alter. Back to Wiseman. This one floating to Stuhlgras, overthrown. Wisconsin comes down with it. Hart. Overthrow to Simmons.
And now Tufts have to run to this disc and go. Taking this time just allows more players on the Hodags to get behind the disc.
Wind really picking up now. Call on the play.
A couple of those throws for the Hodags were just lazy. When you play in wind, you have to take a full balanced pivot on almost every throw. If you just try to flip it out there with your wrist, the wind is going to take it.
Shaw. Pick called on the play.
Here we see the Tufts E-men going in a vertical stack. I like that call. It opens up the sides of the field, break and open, rather than what you'd see a horizontal stack.
Back to Cooper. Enough for Shaw on the inside, overthrown. Putting it up for Wiseman. Cooper is there. Too far. Wind taking this one.
If Tufts gets this upwinder, it could lead to a quick downwind break for them, breaking back. That would reset the game back to on serve.
Cooper trapped against the sideline, needing to get it off. Lines up the sideline.
Clearly wanted to reset back into the best thrower's hands.
Another hanging hammer,
That's
and this one is
fantastic.
caught.
They need to work quickly now. It's 3-on-2.
Banerjee going through, a foul call on the play.
Without a foul there, that looked like to be a goal. Looked like to be a goal.
I'd like to see Cooper here demand the disc and just work it in from the middle of the field. So he's a bit close on his dunk.
Yeah, I didn't like that
Cooper.
either.
Banerjee hitting him over the top of Cooper, fits it into a space, and Tufts breaks back.
This is huge. Now Tufts is pulling downwind, and it gives them a very likely chance to break back.
And I've really liked Tufts' offense going upwind better than the Hodag offense for one reason. Alex Cooper. He's had 2 over-the-top 30 to 40-yard up crosswind hammers. No one on the Hodags has that throw. No one even thinks about throwing that throw.
And a lot of times, one thrower in this type of wind can be the difference maker. Yesterday, Luther took down powerhouse Colorado a lot on the back of Eric Johnson's forehand. Very few players could put a good forehand yesterday, and every team was forcing forehand because of it. A lot of players have backhands. Few have a forehand that can match that kind of distance, and his was the difference maker. He kept bombing it. They came down with the ones they needed, and they got their upwind breaks.
Right now, speaking of upwind breaks, Luther has taken a 3-1 lead on Oregon early on, getting the first upwind break of the game. Pittsburgh getting the first upwind break of the game against Minnesota, up 3-1 as well, and UCF holding against Carleton in the other quarterfinal.
Mario, you said it. The wind is the great equalizer. In most games, we would not expect a Luther to truly challenge an Oregon. Luther hasn't shown that kind of resiliency, whereas Oregon's dominance has been well known throughout this tournament. The wind changes everything.
But Luther has Eric Johnson. Tufts has Alex Cooper. And in the wind, those players rise to the occasion.
Simmons. Zone by Tufts. Liu back. So far, both teams proving they can score upwind.
Wisconsin clearly talking early about trying to get it to an upwind side and then taking shots. In this case, it's the far side of the field. The wind is blowing them towards the sideline they're currently on.
Down called. Tufts gets it on the goal line. Swing has a wide open KS for the goal. Tufts gets the downwind break back. 3-2 they lead.
And we're back on serve.
I think we're seeing a lot of the Tufts comfort with the wind coming from that northeastern area. They see a lot of wind there. This is their comfort zone. They know what to do.
Wisconsin also no stranger to the wind. Usually, though, Wisconsin has more turned to a hucking style, huck and play D. Tufts has been able to work it up the field a little bit more on the first 2 possessions upwind.
KS there left completely open. It looked like he was either overlooked or there was some sort of miscommunication. He was just left standing on the break side, and the mark really didn't take it away.
And again, we can't emphasize enough, talking about that Hodag offense against the wind, they weren't looking for hammer shots at all. They were looking to dump, swing, and maybe find something up the sideline or find a huck look. They weren't looking for those far side hammer looks as Alex Cooper is able to look for.
Last year, the Hodags put the disc in the hands of Ben Feldman early and often, very often, to throw those hammers. He has since graduated.
Hodags did start things out with several hammers downwind. So far, we're back on serve. And we talked yesterday about the confidence that team gains once they score 1 upwinder. An ability to do that means that they don't have to worry in this game.
And regardless of whether it's the O-line or the D-line, the Wisconsin D-line putting it in first, then the Tufts answering back, their O-line putting it in. The upwinders are the difference maker.
Wisconsin, Becker opting to work it up the field. Liu. O'Neal. Big fake. No zone here from Tufts. Transitioning to man defense. Foul called on the play. Turnover. This one's coming back.
Certainly some contact there on the play. It's the right call by the player and right to uphold it by the observer.
You'll notice a lot of times Tufts marks here a little farther off, trying to prevent that.
Tufts defender smartly knocks it to the ground. Cooper not taking a rest yet. And for the 6th straight point, he is so vital for Tufts being able to score. Interesting how players can play more in the wind, even though the points are longer. Cooper, back to Shaw. Hatchet, back in after an early injury. Moving it up the field, and the wind has died down temporarily. Let's see if Tufts takes advantage. Banerjee putting it deep.
This is a huge play right here.
Goes up Tufts, another upwinder in the end zone. Olsen, what a grab.
That is massive, and what you gotta love there is Tufts from their own goal line, really attacking that far side of the field and then taking the huck. It looks like there's a call on the play.
We do have a call. Travel called.
I'd love to see this again. We'll take a look here.
That is a ticky-tack travel call, if I've ever seen one.
Wow. The crowd asking for it again. A lot of Tufts followers here on the sideline. I wouldn't be surprised if he does it again.
With Olsen and Hatchet there, 2 big defenders normally.
And he does.
Hatchet, this one, will it sit?
This is deep.
No, too far out of bounds.
It's actually a better technical throw, just didn't keep it in bounds.
Wisconsin walking the line. Liu. Hitting set after a stoppage. Liu. Poachy zone here by Tufts. Not a pure cup. Park loves his flick huck. Goes with the hammer instead. Olsen is back. This one hanging down. Gets the D.
The Tufts mark there clearly only taking away the far side of the field, allowing downfield throws.
And that was Alex Cooper on the mark. Another advantage when you play in wind, if you can get a good thrower to mark, he's going to understand what the throwers want and will be able to take that away.
Shaw to hatchet. This wind has died down just a little bit. Enough to make upwind throws. Very easy for this Tufts squad so far. Shaw, hand block. Donovan comes down with it.
Whoa.
Not wasting any time, Liu to O'Neal, too far.
The Hodags are not confident in their throws against the wind, upwind or downwind. You can see that on both ends of the field, they're looking just to play field position, and Tufts is trying to work the disc.
Tufts is very, very well getting the disc on that upwind side, and then they're able to attack the mark. The mark doesn't want to allow the around forehand, but it gives up this backhand.
Banerjee going up deep. Will this one hang? Too far for streaking Jack Hatchett.
These are great shots to take, though.
Hey, Jack, got a drop. Hey, Robbie, got your left, Robbie, your left.
The sidelines clearly hearing them saying, Jack, you've got to drop. They depend on Jack Hatchett for those blocks and the deep shots.
Take a look at this mark from Alex Cooper. He's going to not allow anything around and give up throws like that, but they don't want to give up any easy rounds, forcing them to throw it downfield.
Wide open and a drop by O'Neal.
And sadly, that's the offense that I like to see out of Wisconsin.
Interesting point here, O'Neal has a broken hand. They elected to still play him on the O-line as a receiver despite having a broken hand. That was a decision they made. They said he's known for his speed and his legs. In the wind, it's really hard to catch even if you have both hands functional.
Shaw for Banerjee. Overthrown. Liu knocks it down.
I'm kind of surprised we're only seeing man-to-man defense from Wisconsin when the Tufts E-men are going upwind. They're clearly working it well against that man-to-man. I would go zone.
Freeman running park. Going through overthrown. Tufts gaining another good field position here.
Great field position. This is 35 yards up from that end zone line. If Tufts gets this break, I'm not sure what to expect.
We have a timeout call on the field, and we'll see if Alex Cooper and company can convert for Tufts on the upwinder. We'll be right back. This is Next Gen Network's coverage of the 2012 College Championships. And we're back here in Boulder as Tufts has the disc at midfield, trying for another upwind break. So far, both teams getting an upwinder early on in this game. Tufts leading 3-2 over Wisconsin. Tufts in the white, Wisconsin in the baby blue, and we have winds at 16 to 20 mile an hour, gusting at 25. Alex Cooper, thrower for Tufts. Handler picking up the disc. Vertical stack.
3, 2, 1, move your feet. Move your feet.
Cooper for an option.
Excellent vert stack play. They sent a cutter deep that drew the attention of everyone, and Banerjee comes and catches the easy underneath. Unfortunately, they turn it over.
A big hand block here, and this is an advantage for Tufts. Can they capitalize? Cooper.
Tufts has a 6-on-5 advantage.
Olsen. Cooper.
Cooper needs to hit the easy throw immediately. It doesn't matter if it's not for yards. He needs to hit that throw.
Figiola upfield. The Cooper near the goal line, 5 yards to go.
You can see in the physicality of the defense, Wisconsin is desperate to not give this up.
Just being checked back in. Cooper looking for an option. Fouled on the play. Or foul called. We'll see what the observer rules. We have a foul ruled. Cooper. Play restarts, looking for an around flick, perhaps. Anything up the line. Now forced to go back in a quick turnover. Trying to stop the huck. Bumping on the mark. Becker. Upfield, Camp.
There's a name that we haven't called all game. That's Colin Camp. That's because of the wind.
Great shot there.
Park just needing one more pass to get in. Not much movement here by Wisconsin now, going to the dump.
Attacking that upwind again.
Camp with a break overthrown, and Wisconsin cannot convert on the downwind.
This is a huge point.
Cooper, back for Figueroa.
That was an excellent job taking advantage of the position that you gain, doing a horizontal dump cut like that, immediately looking to the break side.
Banerjee looking for his man just at the goal line, not in. Hatchet is there. Big flip for the score to Olsen. Olsen with a second goal of the game, and Tufts gets another upwinder.
Adrian Banerjee coming up huge with that grab. This is a huge difference maker for this game. Starting off 4-2, this could lead to another downwind break, which would make it 5-2.
And the story has been the throwers of Tufts. They've got only two people that are willing to take that shot, but they are far superior to the throwers on the Hodags, and they're just jacking it upfield, coming up with a couple grabs.
Every single time they've thrown a huck, it's been from the upwind side, from the viewer's perspective right now on that far side of the field. It's clear that they are attacking that. Whenever they take a dump, the first look behind is to get it to that upwind side. What it means is any throw that goes up, they've got the whole rest of the field width-wise for that throw to get pushed and for any margin of error. If you're throwing from the downwind side, the disc just wants to get pushed out of bounds.
And that play started, like I said, from that dump cut. It started, the dump came horizontal, moving towards that upwind side. He caught it and immediately swung the disc up the sideline, giving power position to the whole rest of the team, and that's where the huck came from. They completed it for their second upwind goal, and now they have a huge advantage in an upwind-downwind game, especially knowing that the Hodags have not proven to have the throwers to be able to break this wind.
We have a quick score updates here. 6-2, Pittsburgh leads over Minnesota in the other quarterfinal. We have Carleton with an upwind break early in the game, right now tied at 3s with UCF. Luther right now tied at 4s, getting an early upwind break, but Oregon was able to answer with their own upwind break, and we have that game tied. Lloyd Olsen coming on strong late in the season for Tufts. 2 goals in this game so far. Him and Hatchet are the primary deep cutters along with Sam KS. Hatchet and Olsen primarily defenders, but in this game, when you have those tall, quick bodies, you just want to send them deep as much as possible.
Yeah, it totally changes with the wind. Your role changes, the dominant players on the field changes. Normally, when you're talking about Hodags against Tufts, you're talking about the dominance of the Hodag cutters and the dominance of their man-to-man defense, and now that's been neutralized.
Still early in the game, just 4-2. The point's taking a little longer than usual. I don't expect this to go to the full 15 if it continues this way, which it should with this kind of wind. A lot of time for the Hodags to adjust.
Simmons picking up the disc for Wisconsin. See if Wisconsin can answer here. Tufts opting to come with the zone.
Good shot through their cup.
Alter. Both teams here exhibiting an ability to throw up the wind, and quick movement here by Wisconsin to Wiseman. Wiseman faking. Alter. Scoobering over to Simmons. And Wisconsin quickly coming through this zone. To Liu. Finding Alter.
Wisconsin's O-line clearly looking capable and dominant, not dominant, but confident in this win to move the disc quickly with short throws.
Wind has started to die down here. This would be a huge opportunity. Hart.
As the field's compressed, this zone becomes more effective.
Simmons. Wisconsin really valuing the disc, finding Wiseman along the sideline. A quick throw up to Camp, runs it down, and Wisconsin has answered. 4-3, Tufts leads.
I'm impressed with both teams' offensive ability to effectively move the disc upfield and score upwind. The story of this game just might come down to which team's defensive offense can put in the upwinder.
Great find by Simmons. Right now in the wind, on the, at least on our part of the field, has died down. We do see the flag still moving vigorously. But both teams, Wisconsin coming out electing to play man defense, and you can see that with Banerjee ability to huck, that they have to honor the deep cuts.
They do. This is a big one for Tufts' offensive line to answer back. Each team exhibiting a level of confidence, a level of maturity with the disc. This game could be a great one.
We have competing crowds here, a big crowd to our right with the Tufts E-men, and to our left we have the Hodag family, all out in their baby blue supporting. Wiseman.
The Hodags, simplistic Hodag chant, easy to recognize on the sideline. Really lets you know they've got that support. A great pull.
Pinning Tufts in the coffin corner. Cooper will have to work his magic to get it off the line.
Let's go. Come on, out there, let's go.
And we see a zone of some sort here, at least a two-man zone by Wisconsin. Cooper to Shaw. Cooper demanding the disc back.
Tufts attacking that upwind side.
Running a man in the zone. Taylor back to Cooper. Cooper not afraid to put it around. Banerjee.
Tufts dump cuts having a slight difficulty getting open. They start very close.
We have a call on the play.
In this kind of wind, especially in this case, it'd be a downwind throw to the dump. It's hard to just put it to space because it'll just fall. There's not a lot of ability to really make it hang.
Cooper back to Shaw. Patience here by Tufts. Big call on the play.
As Mario noted before, that straight back dump cut allows the dump thrower to clear that sideline and open up a break mark throw downfield on that break side.
Shaw. Back. And a big D by Simmons. Wisconsin getting at the goal line. Simmons putting it out. And Wisconsin has answered to tie this game at 4.
And there's the break back. We are even on breaks. And it comes down to which defensive offense I believe can score upwind.
Two upwinders by both teams. Both teams have responded back. Both exhibiting ability with different strategies, different zones, different man-to-man defenses. Tufts electing to go with a poachy zone on the downwind and a cup on the upwind. Wisconsin first starting out with 2 men on the corner, trying to prevent Cooper from jacking it deep immediately off of a set play. And then electing to go man defense.
And notable differences in their offensive strategies going upwind. The Hodags there, I don't think they once took a look to a huck. They wanted to move the disc quickly with short throws through the cup. On the flip side, the Tufts E-men very much attacking the break side and then looking for hucks. They want that backhand huck. We'll see if we see more of their upwind hammers as the game progresses. Here, though, going downwind.
Good pull upwind by Wisconsin, puts Cooper on the sideline once again.
Sam KS streaking deep.
Cooper not hesitating to just punt the disc.
Smart decision there by Cooper. Didn't see what he liked, didn't have an open, easy throw, did not risk turning it over, giving the Hodags a short field, punts the disc. And the Hodags have not proven to even try to work the disc upfield effectively. They haven't been able to. They've been trying, they haven't been able to.
Wisconsin overthrow to Hart. Callahan caught by Corsi for Tufts. Big play, but Tufts for them, that's really simply a hold downwind. Just a quick score update here. Oregon is back on serve with Luther now in a 1-point lead, or tied now with Luther 5-5. 6-3, Pittsburgh leads over Minnesota, and 6-3, Carleton leads over UCF.
Right now, the winner of this game will play the winner of the Pittsburgh game. Looks like Pittsburgh's in control, so we can expect that for now.
Wisconsin being the 4 seed would transfer over and actually play the winner of the Oregon Luther
Oh,
game.
my mistake.
Normally a Callahan is something that's a little bit more demoralizing for, say, a Wisconsin team. There it's simply a hold for Tufts downwind.
Exactly. We are back on serve. Tufts leading by 1. You can expect to see some sort of zone that would allow Wisconsin to move the disc laterally and try to take away any easy downfield throws.
Incredible pull. This one just not staying in bounds, but the distance.
You know, the distance is there. However, I've really liked the Hodags opting to throw a roller that gets almost as far, but guarantees it's going to be brought inbounds, not in the center of the field, and on that weak sideline. Here, a huge D.
Lloyd Olson making moves this game, 2 goals and several Ds.
And now a great field position.
Hooper looks off the dump. Quick moving up now at the Shaw, getting position. Call on the play. Cooper calling the armbar from Becker. Wisconsin known for their physical defense.
Here we see the thrower having a relatively open window on an around forehand to that break side, excuse me. You can see the angle here. If that dump moves back slightly, takes the defender out of there, and they've got 2 cutters well positioned.
Shaw dropped there, unfortunately from Hatchett. Putting it up. Spies can't come down with it.
I wonder if we'll see that big hammer.
Cooper.
No flick. No flick. Inside foot. 6 up.
And Shaw.
No flick.
Ben Feldman helping out on the sideline with Wisconsin saying no around. They really want to stop that around forehand.
Another big hug from Banerjee. Receiver could not find it in the sun. Donovan to Liu. This forehand, like it came up short and ruled down by the observer.
I'll agree here. This is exactly where Tufts wants to be. That upwind side.
Short field.
Short field. We could see another break here, and a defensive break is huge. More often than not, defensive offenses are less sophisticated. Their primary role is to get the disc. They're not often overloaded with throwers.
You look at this line, though, for Tufts, it's not their D-line. Cooper's out there, Banerjee's out there. They've got their throwers playing upwind.
Shaw upfield to Hatchett. Wilburn puts it in for the goal, and Tufts strikes back up when we have a call on the play, and a travel is called. Second time we've seen a goal come back for Tufts due to a travel. And There was a slide of the foot, ever so slightly.
I'm curious to watch this again. Left foot plants.
And, ooh, not sure.
I don't know about that.
Wilburn to Shaw. Wilburn usually a defensive handler, and Shaw out with Cooper. Combining the handling crews here for Tufts.
Tufts attacking the mark effectively here.
Cooper, the around, comes down with it. Is he in? Tufts scores, Upwind.
Same spot they got that upwinder before. Same type of awkward layout, pancake catch, but it works.
Give the credit here to Cooper. Just unravels his mark for that forehand upwind around break.
What they're doing here effectively is not only having that around break, but then punishing them with the inside breaks when they overcommit.
You can give credit to the mark here. He did the right thing. He was taking away the inside, which is the easier throw. That's just a great thrower making a great play.
Another opportunity here for a double break where the Tufts E-men need to get this downwinder to get the wind back on their side. Last time, Tufts got an upwind break. Wisconsin answered back and then got their own downwind break.
Both teams have answered so far when the other team has gotten the upwind break. Right now we're seeing Alex Cooper touching the disc 36 times in this game. The next highest for Tufts is Banerjee with 10. Both players exhibiting an ability to throw the disc deep.
This is when you want to overload this downwind defensive point for the Tufts E-men.
Big pull.
A great pull. Wow. Sam Kittredge-Schnell with a perfect downwind pull, pinning the Hodags in their own coffin corner. Man-to-man defense here.
Freeman moving through. Hart. Tufts calling out numbers here. 1, 2, 3. We hear they're going to transition out of this zone, which they've done all year long. Go to man defense after approximately 5 throws. Park. Alter. Alter trying to go with the upwind. Scuber gets it up to Park. And now we see a man defense completely for Tufts. Transition completed. Hart. Over to Alter. To Wiseman. Wisconsin.
Couple extra steps on that movement.
Looks like he rounded his cut, came under, and then turned the corner.
I don't wholly disagree with that travel call.
Wiseman for the around. Camp is there. Will this one sit? Toe drags the line, and Wisconsin has answered what yet again? Upwind.
Wisconsin's O-line clearly capable of scoring upwind. That Tufts defensive pressure needed to be stronger.
I've liked Tufts' zone looks, forcing the Hodags to really work tougher throws. And that one was just a lot of inside-out backhands.
It was, and part of the thing that I didn't see out of Tufts that I would adjust, and we could see them adjust sooner, is the way they guard their dumps. If either team really has the disc on the far side, which is the upwind sideline where they'd like to be, as a dump defender, you'd really rather just get in the lane, allow the disc to move laterally downwind, because that's taking away most of the effectiveness of the attack. The more downwind they have on the screen right now that you're looking at, it's the left side is the downwind side. That's where you want the disc as a defensive team. There, they overplayed the dump, really trying to pressure it, but it allows the dump to cut up line, get an easy backhand, and open up the break side.
So far, looking at the stats for Wisconsin, we see a marked difference between the two teams' philosophies. Simmons leading the pack with 13 touches, but Liu and Park are also tied with 13. You can see that all the handlers are getting a wealth of touches for Wisconsin, as opposed to where Cooper is really leading the way for Tufts. Cooper calling for a stack to come in. Wind still pretty much holding steady with that 16 to 20 mile an hour with gusts in between up to 25 and 30.
The mark is actually flat.
Call on the play. Simmons giving it back. No contesting this one.
Simmons, a very smart player, knew that throw was coming.
He'll,
They're actually marking to force that upwind side, marking forehand.
Cooper to Taylor. Cooper beating his man up the line. At power position, still patiently, Banerjee. Fitting it through. KS on the goal line, floating this one. Tufts comes down with it. Buonacorsi scores, and we have matching up winders once again.
Wow. 7-5 Tufts, with Tufts pulling downwind. They could get this downwind break for half.
Coming into half would be, taking half here would be incredibly important, as Wisconsin will receive out of half.
Now here's what I'm seeing from the Hodags. Playing downwind, playing defense downwind, they got busted by those two hammers early in the half. Since then, they've played mostly manned, forcing Tufts to run their man offense, and Tufts is comfortable doing that, especially Cooper. Cooper's comfortable breaking the mark, and that's allowing a lot more easy throws.
It's clear that that Hector Valdivia noticed the backhand mark was being broken effectively, changed it up to forehand. I like the change, right? You have to be willing to tinker, especially early in the game, see what works. It could have worked there. Tufts works it up, but I like the choice and the chance.
Both teams exhibiting an ability to score upwind.
Relatively surprised to see Sam Kittredge-Schnell, the Callahan nominee for Tufts, on the sideline at this point.
Hatchet. Almost another coffee corner pull.
A much smaller pull than the ones we've seen before.
Simmons. And we see a trap zone here, trying to force Wisconsin to get to the right sideline. Almost an overthrow. Wiseman coming down with it.
Tufts very okay, very comfortable with any lateral throws, trying to stop any continuations downfield. The way they do that is the cup flexes backwards, trying to take away the downfield options as that disc moves laterally.
Park surveying. Now going to Riemann. Now we see an opposite trap. Forced middle mark almost from Tufts. Becker. Simmons. Swing to Park. Wind has subsided for a moment.
Not many downfield options available once that disc swung to the upwind sideline.
Riemann going through, fighting
Great throw.
Simmons. Now to Wiseman. Picking out his own man, Becker. Call on the play.
Wiseman's length here, very effective. His height can survey the field over the cup. Only one player on Wisconsin really stretching deep.
We really see the wind die down. Now the flag's almost falling down. Big opportunity for Wisconsin here.
Yeah, the game is certainly much different than it was at the outset. Not quite as much of an upwind, downwind game. Both teams able to work the disc back to a standard break format where it's just O against D.
This is a thrower's win now. This is a completely different game.
Park. See if Tufts will transition out of the zone. Simmons breaking through, going for the hammer, over the top. Wiseman with a reception.
Incredibly fortunate change in conditions there for Wisconsin. It really exposed the Tufts zone, whereas they might have rather have transitioned into a man. Hard to make that kind of call at the split second.
And the formation.
There we see the flags do seem to be returning to their normal blowing in the wind here. The wind picking up a bit, but it really died down for this hammer.
And the zone formation from Tufts is a bit interesting. If you truly want to challenge those over-the-top throws, I noticed that Tufts had actually 2 players sitting deep in their zone. If you want to challenge those deep throws, just have one guy back there, put everyone else underneath. No one on the Hodags has proven that they can throw anything over the top with accuracy yet.
Again, hard to make that kind of adjustment in the middle of a point. That zone clearly designed for high winds. Without them, much more easy to break through. Another point in which the team's offense being forced to work it upwind.
Wiseman, high arcing pull. Calls from the Wisconsin crowd that he touched it. Cooper, though, being able to take it at the cone. Cooper, Banerjee.
Oh, wow, it looked like his first point of contact was that line.
Simmons trying to take advantage.
This for the crucial downwind break. The wind has substantially picked up again.
Wiseman fitting it in. Big turnover there. Tufts can breathe a little sigh of relief.
Certainly.
Talking to assistant coach Ben Feldman.
See, that first point of contact was that sideline.
Talking to assistant coach Ben Feldman before the game, he said, this team is similar in their ability to generate breaks as that dominant team in 2007, 2008, but the difference is their ability
This could
to
sail out of
punch it in
bounds.
after they generate the turn.
Huge catch by Dave Wiseman.
Alex is underneath, right? Alex, you underneath?
Call on the play.
I'm not sure what the call is here.
Maybe arguing a double team. Looks like we have a 2-man mark. Now transitioning. Wiseman putting it deep. This one will sit. Good. Oh. Important point, important missed opportunity there for Wisconsin. 2 in a row.
That's a disappointing drop. You could tell that the flight of the disc was strange. It kept jumping up. The cutter wasn't sure what it was going to do. He knows he had that catch.
Alexander, unfortunately, couldn't come down with it. Cooper. Banerjee. Big D. Layup by Wisconsin.
Spirited no call there.
Simmons calling a timeout.
Yeah, Brian.
We have Wisconsin knocking on the doorstep.
And that's the athletic D that the Hodags are known for. That's an incredible play coming from behind on an underneath cut. That's the most difficult defensive play in all of Ultimate. Very rare to get underneath layout blocks. We're going to take a look inside the huddle as Coach Hector Valdivia barking out the
So
orders.
first person in the stack, make that initial 7 cut, but we're going to run the dishy. Only one reset. Okay, only one reset. That person's going for the dishy.
Tanner, you get the reset.
I'll do the first cut.
Okay.
It's an option.
All right.
Yeah, it's an option.
All right, let's go, guys. Hey, ready? Break. Hey, who's in the back?
I think what we're going to see here from the Hodags, they're talking about a 7 cut. What that usually means is that a cutter will come out of the stack and then come across the front of the stack. Look for that to be the initial cut. This is actually a standard Hodag play in their end zone. Watch from the stack. Someone in the middle will come out and then right across the front of the stack, and that'll be their look for either for the goal or to make a catch and then an easy dishy for the goal.
Taylor on the mark. Dish. Looking back, Marshall. Simmons trying to fit it in. Does so for the goal, and Wisconsin ties it at 7.
Wow. Casual catch. Not easy, but casual.
Going around the scores right now, 9-3 Pittsburgh leads over Minnesota, dominating that matchup. Carleton College taking half 8-4 over Central Florida. And right now we see Oregon take half 8-6 over Luther.
7-7, this for half.
25 minutes till soft cap, approximately. Story so far in this first half, Tufts getting the upwinders, but not being able to capitalize on the ensuing downwind breaks.
Neither team being really, really able to hold that break. Each time Tufts gets an upwinder, Wisconsin has answered back. We are now back on serve for the third time. This is the kind of game that you want as a fan of Ultimate in the wind. Oftentimes it can get into a bit of a huckfest, sloppy game, turnovers. Here we've seen both teams strategically adjust to each other, both teams scoring upwind, both defensively and offensively. Momentum shifts, lead changes. Clearly not full lead changes, but momentum shifts. What a pull.
And actually a huge mistake by Tufts. Someone's got to stop that disc. Now they're sitting on the cone with an extra 15 to 20 yards to work the disc.
KS getting separation. Cooper wasting no time. The defense is there for Wisconsin. Big opportunity if Wisconsin can again capitalize on the upwind.
A good D, always nerve-wracking when a defensive player bids like that and just smacks the disc.
Especially in the wind. Those discs are known to pop up. We saw it
Exactly.
the other day.
The
Defender
swat,
had a chance to catch it, just tried to bat at it.
immediate hammer. Dave Wiseman's underneath, gets a hand on it, can't close.
KS, two Callahan nominees going at it. Cooper now with a disc. Looking for the around. McNaughton
That's a
putting the
great
energy, and Tufts takes half, 8-7. We are still on serve. Wisconsin will receive coming out of half. We'll be back in the second half with this great game of Tufts versus Wisconsin. This is Next Gen Network's coverage of the 2012 College Championships here in quarterfinals.
Score.
And we're back here in Boulder, Colorado, watching Wisconsin face off with Tufts. Tufts with an 8-7 halftime lead in this quarterfinal of the 2012 College Championships. I'm Brian Jones here with Mario O'Brien and Tyler Kinley. Just for a quick score update, we have Pitt leading Minnesota 10-4, Carleton College up 9-4 on Central Florida, and we also have Oregon leading 11-7 over Luther. Big thanks to our sponsors. Today's games encoded by Elemental Technologies, providing video processing solutions to deliver streaming content to any screen, anytime, anywhere, all at once. Mario, it's 8-7 right now. What's been the difference in the game?
The difference in the game has been the ability of Tufts to throw in the wind. We talked about it before the game as we were watching warm-ups. It was interesting to see how the two were preparing. The Hodags were actually practicing their normal warm-up. They were doing some 3-on-3 drills. And to be honest, those drills just don't apply in a wind like this. Tufts, on the other hand, before the game, they were all practicing throwing. They knew that the wind was going to be the biggest factor, and they said, okay, we need to focus on this one specific skill. Then, going into halftime, Valdivia realized that was the important thing. Then the Hodags were all practicing throwing at halftime, making sure that they were confident in their throws. Tufts, on the other hand, spent the entire half in their huddle, getting focused. Obviously, they haven't been in this situation before, and the coaching staff was probably just doing a great job calming, cooling the nerves, saying, hey, we're in control of this game. Keep doing what's working, and we'll be fine in this game. And I think Tufts actually has the advantage if it stays windy, despite the fact that the Hodags have been in this situation before.
And Hatchet proving that Tufts can still boost it in the wind. The one difference here, too, we've seen is that Tufts has not been able to convert in those downwind breaks to extend their lead and convert on those, taking really advantage of those upwind breaks. And I think it's been the defense of Tufts that has kind of killed them here. With the wind being so variable, we have seen winds at 16 miles an hour today with gusts, but Tufts has been unable to convert on those downwind breaks because they're using zone when the wind has died down. I'd rather see them go hard man D. Simmons with the disc for Wisconsin.
Simmons looking downfield when he has the disc, just didn't see any cutters open.
This one over the top. Becker coming down with it for Wisconsin. Simmons. Finding Wiseman. Excuse me, Camp. Park. To Becker, and a drop by Wisconsin. Opportunity to break upwind.
Tufts defense did not look strong there. That's a very fortunate drop.
Tufts doing a great job keeping a very shallow stack, allowing lots of cuts deep.
Perkins high. Up to Hatchet. Bump on the mark.
I like Tufts' patience there. I expected him to throw that huck. He holstered it. I think Wisconsin expected it to go up, and that opened up the underneath cut.
Hatchet tracking this one. Will it sit?
Looks deep.
Too deep, unfortunately. Wiseman making it quite sure that it doesn't become a goal. Actually, Colin Camp on the defense.
Big athletic play there from Colin Camp. You see him go up real big, just ensuring it's not going to be greatested back in.
Despite the wind being considerable at halftime, we're still seeing these upwind opportunities, and Tufts can prove that they can huck it deep. Just too far, and this year with the 20-yard end zones adjusting from a 25 could make all the difference in the world.
We've seen a couple plays already where an additional 5 yards in the back of the end zone would have made all the difference.
Simmons hammering. Hatchet coming in. Can't get there in time. Donovan putting it out for O'Neal. O'Neal bringing it down. Tying the game at 8.
O'Neal bringing it down with one hand. He's got that left hand all taped up. That's the broken hand.
We saw the deep from Tufts come up and try to make a play on that initial hammer catch. That freed up that secondary deep shot. Very easy throw. Has to be completed, but very, very capable of doing so. Here you see that help deep come up, try to make a play, and all of a sudden, boom. Wide open throw.
This game is tied at 8. Wisconsin having a chance now to break upwind. Tufts has had some trouble holding on the downwind points.
Wind has died down here. I would look for the Hodags to clamp down, and you might see some vintage Hodag D. Feldman, Valdivia firing up their D team. The Hodag sideline is alive with the Hodag cheer. Here they go.
This is crucial. This change in conditions really favoring the Hodags simply because the rest of the game has had that strong wind. The wind shifted slightly. The Hodags are actually pulling slightly downwind. You can see it in just the gigantic pull. This looks to be going out of bounds even.
We do have the flags blowing a different direction here.
I don't like that choice of a pull. Why even put it up in the wind and let it affect it? I much prefer a bladier pull that is going to hit the ground, maybe roll out of bounds, and put the pressure on the Tufts offense to start with that raging Hodag defense.
Up until now, that's what we've seen from
Cooper
the Hodags.
looking for KS. KS comes down with it in front of Wiseman. Looking for an option. Back to Cooper, and this is D by Wisconsin.
Fantastic D there. Wow. The wind not a huge factor right now. This is a major opportunity for the Hodags D-line to get a break.
Big
Great
D by Tufts. KS to Cooper. Luana Corsi.
No deep cuts available, and finally KS goes.
This one, though, we'll have to try to sit. KS goes up, can't make the play. You see man defense here by Tufts. Upfield popping. Hart comes down with it. Back to Alter. Alter throws right into a poach by Cooper, who won a Corsi. Banerjee.
Now we're returning to see what Dan Forster was saying.
Banerjee
Tufts needs
putting
to play
one in there. Comes down with it in the back of the end zone. Boo on a Corsi with a great catch.
Wow. Wow. In traffic. Fantastic catch.
Boo on a Corsi has his second goal of the game. First goal was a Callahan for a downwind point to take the lead 5-4 for Tufts. This one holding here 9-8.
And now the time becomes a factor. There's 8 minutes left till soft cap. Any advantage you have on the scoreboard could be huge, especially if you can stretch that to a 2-goal lead.
I'm really impressed with Tufts today. They look good. They look composed. Both teams going to make mistakes. Tufts still willing to take those shots deep. Tufts sideline looks confident. They're playing like they have been here before, and they haven't.
But they've been in these conditions before, and that's what makes them feel at home.
Wilburn with the low pull for Tufts, staying inbounds. And the wind has traditionally returned back to its upwind, downwind state. Wisconsin with the downwind. Camp. Cooper on the mark.
Nice no-around mark there by Cooper, making them throw the disc backwards just to reset.
Park.
This lateral game is what Tufts wants them to play.
Donovan. Flips it up to Simmons. Simmons with a high release flick to Becker. Fits it in. Not caught. D for Tufts.
Colin Camp couldn't come up with that one. That's an unfortunate mistake for a veteran player for the Hodags.
Cooper. Now underneath the hatchet.
Their backhand pump fakes really sell the deep cut. Opens up that underneath cut.
Wilburn gets
will
open
we
up the
see
line.
it?
Shaw. Overthrow to Cooper. Figueroa, unfortunately, with the throw. Park. Putting it deep, has a man. Spees comes down with it. Wisconsin holds yet again. We have a call on the play.
Let's see what the call is here.
Some discussion going on back between the thrower
Travel call
and the mark. Cooper called a travel on Liu.
I'm wondering if Dayu Liu ran just slightly out of bounds and didn't have the disc in. We'll see.
92! JTT, you're out here, right?
I'm wondering if that's what the call was. Regardless, it comes back. Need to check that disc in by tapping it on the ground.
Camp. Put it around to Simmons. Simmons looking for an option, running out of time. Going over the top yet again to Donovan.
Love that throw from Simmons. Quick release, just get it out past the mark. No defender.
Camp. Simmons, nice throw. Gets it. Wisconsin in the goal, ties this game at 9.
Critical mistake there by Eric Wilburn, the defender. When you get close to the end zone, you can't afford to face guard like that and give up the easy upfield pass. In that case, he didn't know that the pass was coming. Hodag handler caught it with space on the break side and throws basically a handoff for a goal.
Up until now, we'd seen Tufts really attacking the mark well. That entire point, Wisconsin really punished Tufts' marks, whether with inside forehands, whether with high release backhands, all very effective. Wisconsin looks good with that kind of offense.
Coming up on 4 minutes until soft cap, knotted up at 9.
This game very clearly not going to go to the full 15.
We get a little bit of score update here. We have Pittsburgh leading 14-6 over Minnesota, Oregon leading 13-9 over Luther, and Carleton up 13-6 over UCF.
Battle going on the field as well as on the sidelines between the opposing fans. Each of them trying to fire their team up.
Mistake here by Wisconsin. Pull goes out of bounds, giving Cooper a short field to work with.
This is exactly what we were talking about, Mario. Trying to put a big pull. Easily puts it out of bounds. Throw that roller.
KS finding McNaughton for the goal, and Tufts makes it look easy. 10-9.
Too short of a field to work with. Too short of a field.
It's all about the pull there. The Hodags need to know that their advantage is with their intensity, and when you throw a pull like that, that intensity is immediately neutralized.
In this case, what we'd be looking for from Tufts now is a backhand pull outside in that would land on the field and roll out on this near side that pins. It might not give the distance that a big outside in or big inside out backhand might, but those have not been landing in. They just haven't been going in bounds. So if you put it in, you might not get the extra 5 or 10 yards, but you pin them on a sideline.
Pivotal points here. It looks like with the amount of time we have remaining in the stoppage in between points that we will see a game to 12 with soft cap looming. Unless Tufts can break up win here.
Time ticking away. The sideline noise picking up. The fans, the players, the coaches, everybody knows the intensity's rising. It's getting exciting out here.
Pittsburgh is the first team to advance to the semifinals, winning 15-6 over Minnesota.
You can feel the intensity pick up not only on our field, but as I look around, all of the games going on right now have entered their critical stage. Most of them are close with the cap looming.
That's a pull.
Incredibly deep pull up to Simmons. Moving it to Camp. Once again, we're seeing a transition zone here.
Tufts really giving up short throws, trying to take away any deep shots up until now. Now it's a strict man forcing forehand.
Call on the play, travel called.
We see the deepest for the Hodag cutters being backed slightly and everyone else being fronted. The main cutter in the middle of the field fronted here.
Great matchup downfield right now. We've got Banerjee against Colin Camp. That's Camp streaking deep.
Donovan underneath to Becker.
That around backhand, so effective.
And Cap is on. Finding Simmons with a nice IO break. Up to Becker. Simmons.
These marks have to clean up.
Right now, Tufts man defense is very loose. Wisconsin's throwers are making them pay the price, and Camp is found in the end zone. Wisconsin ties it at 10, and we have a game to 12.
Hodags doing it again with the break mark throws. These last 2 downwind points, the Hodags have found confidence in finding that inside out, which is setting up the arounds. You're right, Tyler, those marks need to clean up a little bit more discipline because the Hodags feel confident. Think about any throw they want underneath.
Tufts break opportunities have not come on big Ds for the most part, but have come on Wisconsin drops. Since Wisconsin's cleaned it up, I don't see Tufts getting a good opportunity for a break.
Again, this was 10-10 game to 12. After the game, be sure to visit the NGN Facebook page to vote for the Elemental Player of the Game. One voter will receive an Elemental prize pack with 2 discs, a t-shirt, and an aluminum water bottle.
Tufts with a huge advantage right now. They're going downwind and they're on offense, going into cap in a game to 2. Hodags need a stop.
Soft cap rules apply. It's still win by 2. As soon as that hard cap comes on, though, it's a different story.
Hard to 12, though. So here,
Hard to 12.
Hard to 12.
My mistake. Hard at 12. Game to 2, just as Mario said.
See if Wisconsin's experience with this situation can help them.
This is the pull that I like.
Tufts still able to get going. Cooper. Looking for an opportunity, putting it up. Banerjee chasing it down, can't come down with it.
So athletic. Couldn't come up with it, but great bid. You see that throw go up. Banerjee's got to make a play, and almost makes it.
Huge opportunity here. Wisconsin can take back the momentum.
Interesting to note here, both teams still have 2 timeouts. This might be an opportunity where if your offense is stalling, might call a timeout, reset, make sure you get exactly the look you want in this critical moment of the game.
Hart up to Simmons, making the hammer. Marshall, Wiseman, none marked. Finding Hart, Wisconsin now marching towards midfield. Energy on Simmons. Wiseman.
The cutters are wide open right now.
Popping this over the top. Goes down, tries to greatest it.
Oh, wow.
Everybody holding their collective breath here on the sideline for Wisconsin and Tufts.
That would have easily been the play of the game. It looked like he might have landed first, but wow, great effort.
Cooper jacking one to KS. This one is sitting. KS
Yes.
flubs the catch. What a
Holy
turn of
cow.
events.
This is getting exciting.
Simmons to Hart.
The shot you want to the receiver you want, and it's doinked.
Now back to Simmons.
There are underneath cuts open for the Hodags everywhere that they look.
To Wiseman.
The story for the Hodags right now is, can you not make a mistake?
Call on the play.
They're not being pressured like the Tufts would like to.
Zach Alter just ran right through a defender.
He's a big boy, that Zach
See him
Alter.
coming from behind and just steamrolling him to the ground.
Wind is picked up a little bit here. Still at that 16 mile an hour with 20 plus gusts. Simmons looking for the around.
Simmons feeling very confident. With
KS
his
was there.
breakdowns right
Simmons making the tight catch. Alter jacking this one for Coolidge. Gets it in the end zone. Huge point for Wisconsin.
Wow, this is massive. This is Wisconsin's first lead of the game. This is huge. Wisconsin knows it.
What a turn of events. Sam KS flubbing the catch in the end zone. See if Tufts takes a timeout here to regroup.
Sam Case is not going to be pleased with himself on this one. He just had it right there, wide open to catch it. And that led to this big backhand.
Alter dropping it into Coolidge. Just enough mustard on it.
It's the spicy Dijon getting it deep.
Mario, would you call a timeout here?
I would call a timeout. The Hodags are pumped up, and it's all about momentum at this stage in the game, and the Hodags have all the momentum. They're coming off of an emotional swing as big as you can get in a critical game, going from thinking that you're going to be down against game point to then having game point for your own team. The Hodag Nation is alive. Definitely would call a timeout if I was Tufts. Certainly, if things stall and I'm not getting the look that I want, I've still got that option.
The Hodags sprinting down on a good pull.
Hey, do not get beat over here, Hodag!
Same center stack we're used to.
Cooper, see if Tufts can hold the upwind here. Wisconsin in their second lead of the game.
Cooper drawing a tough matchup defensively. That's Coolidge. Coolidge, one of the best dump defenders in the nation.
Cooper.
Good
Hatchet.
patience here.
Banerjee overthrown, and Wisconsin has an opportunity.
Wisconsin's resilience really showing through. Finally getting the lead. Now they're in the position to take this game.
Looking up the line, Marshall, quick flip. Coolidge, Alter, one pass away.
Can they be patient?
Riemann looking for the option, it's there. Wisconsin takes the game, 12-10.
Hodag Nation going nuts. Tufts stunned. They knew they were in the game the entire game. So disappointing.
Tufts players on the ground. Lots of opportunities, unfortunately could not capitalize.
The elation from the Hodags, just heartbreakingly contrasted by the, oh gosh, it's just hard to, you hate to see a team lose like that.
This is the worst.
It's so tough.
The worst type of loss.
Tufts was in the game, they had the leads.
I would even go so far as to say I think Tufts played a little bit better than the Hodags overall, but sometimes it's all about being opportunistic and making the plays at the right time in the game.
And what a game to watch.
And that drop is just crushing, and that surely is going to live in his brain probably for the rest of his career.
The worst too, I mean, he is the leader of the team. He is a fantastic player, and anyone that knows him will say he's one of the nicest guys ever. You just hate to see that happen to someone like that.
Hodags advance on to play Oregon, most likely. I'm assuming they won their game against Luther. They were up. Pittsburgh will match up against likely Carleton. Right now it's 14-7 Carleton over Central Florida. We'll have that action coming to you later on today. 10:45 local time here in Boulder.
What a game. What a game.
We're going to be doing Pittsburgh-Carleton at 10:45. Be sure to tune into that. For Tyler Kinley, Mario O'Brien, I'm Brian Jones. Thanks for tuning in to our Next Gen Network's coverage of the 2012 College Championships.
To celebrate. Hey, we're not there yet.